In this second part of the summary of Unit 3, I'm going to zoom in on covalent bonding, also known as molecular compounds. And I'm going to use the example of chlorine. From the first part of the video, you know that chlorine has got 7 electrons in the outer shell because it's in group 7. And I see I forgot the Cl there. So if there are no other atoms around from which chlorine can go and steal an electron, it has to help itself. And chlorine, when you have 2 atoms of the same type, the power with which they pull electrons towards each other is the same. This power we call electronegativity. And so the electrons do not get transferred like in an ionic compound, but they get shared. The way this happens for chlorine is as follows, and I've drawn here a dot and cross diagram where you can see clearly that the atoms get shared. Chlorine, 7 electrons in the outer shell in the one, 7 in the other, and to accomplish the octet rule, they share 1 electron with each other. In that way, they both have a full outer shell. And so whenever we have chlorine, we write Cl2. Chlorine is a so-called diatomic molecule. You find the full list in Unit 4.3 or on page 31 of the yellow booklet. We can remember these 7 diatomic molecules, and you are supposed to remember them, using the Claudia rule. The Claudia rule is a mnemotechnic. It says, Claudia, I use the Dutch sentence, Claudia fietst naar haar oma in Brussel, which means that chlorine, fluorine, nitrogen, be careful, a lot of people think it's sodium, but it's nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, iodine, and bromine. So, to summarize, ionic compounds transfer electrons, and you see the dot and cross diagram here, and covalent compounds, molecular compounds, share electrons. One more thing about dot and cross diagrams. Watch out in questions if I ask you to just draw the outer shell or to draw all the shells.